Good morning and welcome to another Tuesday Tour. It's John Sautter along with Michael Fairchild behind the camera from your Purdue Alumni Association. Today we're going to feature Orville Redenbacher. Orville is a 1928 graduate of Purdue, described as a real go-getter back then. He was a dedicated scientist, we know, and an icon when it came to advertising his gourmet popping corn. And there's probably no better way to talk about Orville than to meet the man himself. And so we're going to do that downstairs. Actually, we're in the Union Building, the Memorial Union Building. Turns out Orville worked here during the early days of the Union Building when it first opened up. And down in the basement area, there's actually a very well done drawing, floor to ceiling drawing of Orville when he was on campus. And so we've arranged to meet Orville right down there. So we're going to go down there and do that now. We are now downstairs in the basement of the Union Building. And here is Orville Redenbacher. Orville, nice to have you with us today.
It's good to be here.
All right. In front of this well-done drawing of Orville during his time in the band. Let's start off with, tell us about your days at Purdue.
Well, I became very active in high school, and I thought that my county agent, that's now, they're called extension educators now, but my county agent was my role model in high school. I was very active in high school. I actually was accepted at West Point Military Academy.
Oh my goodness.
And I decided at 17 that I'd come to the campus and visit. Went to Alpha Gamma Rho to have some place to be, and they offered me a membership to stay there. So I was a member of Alpha Gamma Rho while I was here at Purdue. I was editor of the Degree and the Exponent. I was very involved in campus activities, and that was the result of the education that I had in 4-H through the Extension Office in Clay County.
Okay. In fact, in Alpha Gamma Rho, I think you became the president.
Yes, I did.
And
yes.
Go ahead.
And enjoyed it very much and had a good time here at Purdue.
Actually, we have a picture of the old AGR house, and I think you were helping them move into the new house.
Yes. It was a very exciting time. We got to move into a new place.
Okay, excellent. And obviously you were in the band,
yes.
In the marching band.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, it was something I enjoyed doing, and playing the tuba, and the marching band was a group of people who, mostly guys, but a group of people who enjoyed being together, and it was part of the family experience.
Excellent.
Here at Purdue.
You did a lot, including, I think you actually wrote for the Purdue Agriculturist magazine?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
That was another one of those things that there was a group of people that worked with the agriculturist, and I wrote for that and enjoyed sharing the experience.
Excellent. And then last but not least, I understand you went on the cross-country team.
Yes.
When did you have time to do all this stuff?
Well, you just make time to do those things that you enjoy doing.
There you go. And actually lettering cross-country, I believe, at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, tell us about the development of your gourmet popping corn, for which you're known these days.
Well, I had several I first started out teaching school. I wanted to be in the county extension office, the Purdue extension office in Clay County, because that's where my hero was when I grew up. And eventually I ended up not teaching high school any longer, but getting into the extension office. And then there opportunities came by for me to get partners at various times in doing farming operations. When I was 12, I was selling sacks of popcorn. Of course, it wasn't shelled corn. It was the cob, corn on the cob. And I sold that when I was 12, and I got an interest in popcorn. So that spurred my interest in going on with these farming partners. Our ultimate was my partner and I planted thousands of plants, 32 different varieties, and we found a variety that popped very well. There are very few kernels left, very few leavings, the little pieces that you have of popcorn. And I had a plastic cylinder that I wanted to fill. So I counted the number of kernels, popped those kernels, and the ultimate time that we produced the right variety of popcorn was when that container was filled up with very few kernels left over. So I walked around the room and I said, we did it, we did it, we did it.
I guess. And it became the gourmet popcorn right after that.
Right.
Tell us how that popcorn got its name.
Well, it was first called Red Bow because my partner, the red of course came from Redenbacher. His last name was Bowman, so the Red Bow popcorn. And that was where the Red Bow popcorn came from.
Okay.
But we eventually changed it, and I appeared on TV shows of various kinds, and wore a red bow tie, because that kind of matched what we were doing, and wore the red bow tie and became known as the Red Bow person. But eventually, we just changed it, and the partners went their way, I went my way, and eventually we named it Redenbacher Popcorn.
Okay. And I understand there were some Chicago people in the marketing area, these big city people, who thought maybe Orville Redenbacher, the name, might be catchy enough to catch on.
Yeah.
And I guess it did.
Yes, it did.
Yes, it did. One of your appearances, I think, was on a show that maybe many of our viewers actually remember, To Tell the Truth. Tell us about that experience.
Well, it was an experience where you tell the truth, or you maybe lead people off a little bit. But you end up being the person who actually is over Redenbacher. There are usually 3 or 4 contestants on the show. And they tell, let's not say lies, they tell untruth statements that to make the panel think that they're over Redenbacher. And I told the truth and ended up being over Redenbacher.
By golly. And I think the imposters got all the votes. They couldn't figure out who the real Orville was. But
they were very good.
Again, for some of our viewers who might remember that, I think Gary Moore was the moderator for that.
Right.
And on the panel was, I think, Bill Cullen. And
that was a few years ago.
I guess Kitty Carlisle and some of those great things. It was just a great show. I understand you were also on David Letterman.
Yes, and he very, very cordial gentleman, and I enjoyed being with him and talking with him. Very nice person.
Great promotional pieces. And this is in the 70s now, and I think based upon that, it just kind of took off.
Yes.
And now you're actually an international symbol. That popping corn, I suspect, is in just about every home out there.
Yeah, I hope so.
All kind of flavors.
Yes.
That sort of thing. How do you prefer?
I like butter and salt on my popcorn.
Excellent. All right. Because I know there's all kind of flavors that you can get, all those sorts of things available out there.
I actually have a box. Here's the box.
Okay.
And you want to look for this box. It's the best popcorn there is. Can't find any better than this.
He is still promoting his popcorn.
Right.
As a nice, I understand as a nice tribute to you, your adopted city of Valparaiso, Indiana, now has a popcorn day.
Yes.
And they have a parade and thousands of people involved, is that right?
Right. They have a 5K run. They have exhibits of all kinds. Last year, of course, it was not scheduled, it was canceled. This year it's scheduled for September 21st, I think it is.
Okay.
And we'll see if it happens. We'll see what happens.
A great tribute to the Popcorn King and the gourmet popping corn and all those things. All that started right here in Purdue University.
Right. Purdue was my incentive to do well.
That's excellent. Just a great Purdue story. Anything else we need to know about Orville?
I look back on my life, and my county extension educator, or county agent at that time, was a big influence in my life. But I don't know if he ever knew that or not. But because of him and his ability to get research information from Purdue, he just seemed like the most intelligent person around. And I wanted to be that kind of person and have the knowledge that he had. So he was a big help to me. So that was through the Extension Service.
That is excellent. And that's a great lead into, you've actually done that in real life. Actually, this is retired Extension Specialist David Caldwell, who does that very thing and has decided to take on the role of Orville Redenbacher.
Right.
In fact, Orville, or David, would be available if you want to have him into your classroom, to your alumni club meeting as a speaker, or a social get-together. It would just be a great way to rally around Purdue and actually have some popcorn and a pretty good time with Orville Redenbacher.
Yeah, make sure that you get this.
Can't hold him back. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. On behalf of David and Orville and Michael behind the camera, hail Purdue.
Thank you, and hail Purdue. Boiler up.